Welcome back, fan stands. We are in the top 8 of the Super Open, where our players will do a flashback cube of Season 9. Today we're going to be following Connor's picks through the set. So here we're looking at pack 1. We're going to make sure that there are 15 cards, but Connor's our featured drafter because they went 4-0. We've got Time Vault, Edge Monstrosity, Desert, Round-Up Hydra, Terror, Volt Charge, Crash Through, Vexing Beetle, Fertile Ground, and some big blues. Now, the key cards that stand out here are that God Eternal Bontu, the Time Vault, and Terror and the Fertile Ground. Bontu is just a good card that can attack your opponent, but Time Vault, taking this first pick means that nobody else is going to know that you have the Time Vault. We do have some ways to untap it, like with Kiora, but we're going to go for Bontu and just pick the solid creature. We have Mind Stone, Tomic, Giant Growth, Tangle. If you want to get your creature out ahead of curve, Bontu plus Mind Stone looks pretty good. You can bring out your Bontu and then sacrifice the Mind Stone if you've already got a bunch of mana. Nothing else really particularly stands out, unless you wanted to take a Desert on colored with the Bontu. Hour of Eternity represents a lot of value, but the triple blue pip is going to be tough to get. You also can't Hour of Eternity your own Bontu, but we're just going for some big Dimir value picks. We've got a Plateau, that Aven Eternal, and Solemnity. Buried Alive combos well with the cards you just took. We have Dromar. So if you wanted to continue down the big spells route, you could go for the Hour of Eternity, or sorry, Finale of Glory. But maybe early on you want to make sure you have some solid things in the way. Finale is going to be the pick, though. This cube has been a lot slower than we first anticipated, so you can get to a lot of mana. And there's Phyrexian Unlife when we just passed Solemnity. That is a combo, but you need some way else to actually win the game. Sorin, a huge pick if you wanted to keep the value train going. If you wanted to make sure you're staying alive into the later game, lifelink on all your dudes is huge. But Commence the End Game is also a consideration if we just want to keep the value train going. And we have passed the Solemnity. I think it's important that we also pass the Unlife, make that somebody else's problem. And yeah, I like the Sorin pickup a lot here. You have some big bombs, but you just want to make sure that you can live to the late game. We have Sunblade Angel if you want to continue that path. There's an elf, late elf in the pack. Surprised no one else has taken that up. But Noxious Ghoul, a way to continue to deal with the board while also deploying your own plan. Hour of Devastation if you wanted to keep delaying and so I think, but then you also have Chromatic Star or Chromatic Sphere just as a way to fix. We're already in 3 colors at the moment. I mean, the Hour of Glory, likely something easy to get rid of. The Lotus Veil is tempting though, because that lets us cast the Hour without too much trouble. We're going to pick up a Gem Palm Polluter. Maybe go for the Dimir Zombies route. Keep that open if we wanted to go a more aggressive line. Ooh, Spinal Embrace. And Lazotep Plating. Spinal Embrace, just I think an underrated card, but You steal a creature and sacrifice it, gain life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness, and you can do that at instant speed. Kind of steal and block. But yeah, we're looking at some Esper good stuff. Really sending the signal to others that green is open. And someone's likely going to be very interested in comboing with that Time Vault. There are different ways to combo with it. You have Sahili, you've got Kiora, and you have the other way to untap, but we picked up a Teo. Now this Gem Palm Polluter not doing too much if we don't have other zombies, but Lantu's a zombie. Gem Palm's also just a 4/3 creature. We're starting to get ways to survive into the later game, but we're going to want to pick up some amount of removal to make sure that we can bridge the gap into our big spells. But Orzhov is in no shortage of that. Some people making some tough decisions. These packs were built with a lot of great cards. We've got Seth on the right of Connor. Tends to like more red aggressive strategies. And to the left we have Matt, who also typically likes the mid-range big stuff. But that's a really late Basalt Monolith in the pack. All these other cards aren't super exciting. Maybe you have the 3-mana 2/2 flash First Striker, but Basalt Monolith is going to make all these expensive spells way easier to cast. And we could even double spell some huge things. That Finale looking much better now. But if you're really happy to see that. We've got Survivor's Encampment. I like the bird here, or the Wing Splicer. The bird having protection from black could be super relevant, but we're going to invest in our mana base, make sure that if we're starting to flood out, that we have more things to do. But we do have a lot of expensive spells already, and some quite high intense pip cards. But yeah, that bird. Let's see, the Duskrider Falcon, flying, protection from black, 1/1. That can, in a board stall, you're just pecking away against some big black creatures, and there are a lot of premium creatures in black. You can just really delay the game to get to the big spells you want to cast. Let's see. I believe this is our wheeled pack. Yep. And we do see the Time Vault is missing. So we're not going to want to pass anything really that untaps, like a Seedborn Muse or the like. Maybe we pick up an Aura Silence as a sideboard way to get rid of things in our opponent. The Imperial Armor, not too important because most of our creatures are already pretty good. So putting more eggs into one basket, not super necessary. Maybe if we were more aggressively slanted strategy and wanted to close out the game before something like ourselves can get online, that's what we would do. All right, the Desert came back. We also have a Desperate Lunge to get some damage through. This Bant card, maybe if we can't do the double green pip, the double blue could really lock someone down, just bouncing their creatures turn after turn. But instead, grab something else. And here we're winding down to the last couple picks. Last 5 picks. So it looks like we're solidly in a sort of Orzhov good stuff strategy. We really do want to pick up more removal spells. Plateau lets us keep up a splash. Mental Misstep, not super amazing in this format. We could pick up Solemnity just so that if somebody else tried to pick up the other half of the combo, that they don't get both pieces. And yeah, it looks like that's what we're gonna do. Solemnity also has some vague text against like a Nissa if Connor ends up facing against that card. If you somehow run into the Infect matchup, that'd be pretty good. Though we don't really have any Infect in the cube, besides on some very sparing cards. And let's see. We have the Spinethopter. Phyrexian Unlife is here. And yeah, we do have creatures to actually close out the game, so it's not too terrible of a pickup. We'll take an Angel to keep up just the high quality creature count with Solemnity Unlife. Even if the board gets gummed up, that Sunblade Angel can just attack over the top of the board. Shrine of Limitless Power. It's the black discard one, and then Spinal Embrace. It's a little hard to cast the Spinal Embrace, but I don't want that to be in the hands of anybody else, and it looks like Ambuscade is the last pick of the pack. Small 2 Finale. So we've got some top end. We have some sideboard cards, but don't actually have too much interaction. We're also going to want to pick up some more creatures too, to potentially survive the mid game. All right, we have War Screecher, Peacekeeper, Liliana's Triumph. We need that's a removal spell for us. Got some red lands. You can see the War Screecher as an early blocker. We've got 2 sacrifices. The Bully doesn't do too much in this deck, and a Null Rod. Null Rod, maybe if we can wheel it, that'd be a nice sideboard card against the Time Vault deck. But yeah, we're going to just take Liliana's Triumph. We need some more interaction to survive the early game. Let's see. Savannah Lions, a little too low to the ground for what we want. This Griffin brings back a creature. Ooh. I like me a Dark Ritual. We've also got a Hex Parasite. Okay, there's the Ruins in here as well, which is good to note. Let's see. Yeah. Interesting card in that pack being Archaeological Dig. We saw the Ramanop Excavator going around. So someone combos that with Fast Spawn, they can get as much colored mana as they want. But it's important for us to develop our own plan first before trying to cut other people off. Plus, we were passing that Excavator the other way. All right, we have Resurrection, Catcher's Last Mercy, Dunefall, and Ravenous Rats are both cards we like to see. God Eternal Row is surprising to see in here, and a lot of red fixing lands. Wonder if we could have splashed red, but Haven't seen too many like amazing red cards that we want to play in this specific strategy. Doomfall, the modal ability of getting rid of a creature or exiling a card from the opponent's hand, very relevant. You can beat up both the more grindy strategies who are trying to save their spells in hand and like the mid-range strategies that just want to be deploying high quality creatures. And we also are getting just this interaction. Ooh, Teferi, Praetor's Grasp, Dreadhorde Invasion, Angel of Condemnation. This pack is stacked. We can only pick one, and then we have an off-color mana fixing land. This is really tough. You have the Invasion as an early play. We don't have a ton of early plays. You have Teferi as more interaction, but we don't have a ton of blue. The Angel is just an amazing creature that if we do go for the Solemnity Unlife combo, Angel can kill over the top. This is tough to decide. We have some slight zombie synergies, but not a lot of token production. Yeah, this is a tough choice. We're going to go for the Dreadhorde Invasion. I like having an early play. Armageddon, Ruin Rats, Fledgling Djinn, Loxodon, ooh, and a Marsh. So if we, this is a choice here. Ruin Rat is really important to keep you alive in the early game, and it blocks very well. Exiling cards from graveyards is also relevant, especially against gods. Fledgling Djinn may be a little too aggressive, but the damage doesn't matter too much if we're gonna get in here. Ooh, Steward of Solidarity. Board stall scenarios, this card goes hard. Just cranking out a 1/1 blocker every turn, or every other turn. This Tundra, again, we're being asked, are we going to commit to that blue splash or not? Davriel, better if we had more discard spells like this Addle. Maybe pick one and wield the other. And yeah, it looks like that's what we might be trying to do. Just like a Mind Rot on a creature. Planar Guide or Windborn Muse at the front. Dream Stealer if we want to continue down that discard plan. And Mindcrank. Ooh, Mindcrank and Fraying Sanity in the same pack. Surprising that someone didn't pick one and try to wheel the other. Now, those cards work very well with each other. Scavenger Grounds, Abeyance, Omen Machine, Hana. We don't have a ton of enchantments that we want to really get back. This Sackland might just be important for ramp, but yeah, we're just going to take the Abeyance instead. If we're against the counterspell strategy, we want to get our big spells through. And this War Screecher wheeling around, 1/3 flyer, not only a great blocker, as a lot of the early creatures don't have a ton of power, but in a board stall, that flying's really going to matter. So we're looking, it's looking like, since we didn't take those mana fixing lands, that we're not going to be playing the Hour of Promise, and probably not going to be playing the Spinal Embrace, as great as those cards are. And we're just going to stick to the Orzhov good stuff strategy, which ain't a bad strat. Looks like the Geth's Verdict did not wheel, so someone's in a heavy black strategy as well. But I'm really liking that we picked up some early plays, not only to deploy to the board and start hitting the opponent, but also early interaction. We got the Liliana's Triumph, we got the Doomfall. It's going to be important to get bridging to the late game. Here's the Savannah Lions back. None of these other cards really particularly awesome. The Griffin is just a value play, and another flying creature. Just really index on stalling the game, gumming the board, and then chipping in over the top. We do want to probably see a few more interactive pieces. Resurrection, not exactly what we're looking for, but it'll do. It'll be nice if we get like a Sheoldred or some other huge Orzhov creature in our colors to bring that back. Maybe even discard it early to Davriel. Yeah, because Davriel says target player discards a card. We can target ourselves and then reanimate it. Suture Priest over the Living Twister. Not typically really looking to cut. Oh, and we wield the Ruin Rat. That's huge, actually. Sometimes you have reanimation strategies. I guess by taking the Sorin, the Resurrection, the Ruin Rat's exile clause becomes a little less relevant, but there are incidental value cards like Tameo and Regrowth, and the Mind Crank is the last pick. So yeah, we picked up some acceleration with the Dark Ritual to go along with our Grim Monolith, and some early plays in interaction. So I'm liking how this is shaping up. We've got some bombs, we've got some interaction. Oh, there's Elish Norn, we were just talking about it. Alright, and some mostly filler cards. Gemstone Mine. You hate to see it go, as the early fixing would be nice. Gitaxian Probe is also great. Totally Invasion, relatively replaceable, but yeah, I like this Elish Norn pick. We have the ability to potentially cheese it out early. We have the way to return it back. Ooh, we have Hour of Revelation, Doomsday, Bolus' Citadel, Shrine of Burning Rage, and Jace. Oh wow, Doomsday and Jace in the same pack as Hour of Revelation. We definitely can't go into Jace at this time. We've passed on too many blue fixing lands, but it's sweet to see them both in the same pack. Yep, Hour of Revelation, huge in this format, being able to not only wipe the board, but wipe it of Planeswalkers, wipe it of mana rocks from the opponent. There's just a lot of incidental value you get off of that. And these two have been huge pickups. And into a God Eternal Oketra. That's wild. Another board wipe. Ooh, and Animate Dead. Oh my god. Such great cards, but yeah, you can't really pass up this God Eternal Oketra. You have both of the War of the Spark Orzhov gods. Blade Splicer, a great card. Bond of Discipline, Bond of Revival. So a lot of reanimation here at this point. And we have one of the ramp lands. And yeah, I just like the low creature, just high quality and keeping you alive. combos with Suture Priest, but we're probably not going to be playing Suture Priest. Disenchant is a sideboard card. Law Rune Enforcer, guy with the stick, is actually really great. Vizier. We do have some Sleight of Mass, so Vizier can do well here, but I feel like we've got a decent amount of 3-drops already, and guy with a stick is very efficient. But I guess Vizier combos really well with the Dreadhorde Invasion. You can just attack with a dude every turn and get through, or you can block with that guy every turn and trade for whatever's on your opponent's side. Here, there's not too many great cards. You don't want to hate the Blue Blast because you're not playing any red cards and you want somebody else to kind of waste a pick on that. Because we're solidly in the Orzhov. So let's see. I'd like maybe... We have some sacrifice removal, but we've had a little bit of hand disruption. But I'd like if we have an actual targeted removal spell. If our opponent goes a little too wide for us, we don't want to get run over. And if there's a problematic card like that Peacekeeper that we passed earlier, we want to make sure that we can actually break the stall. Yeah, this is looking like a sweet deck for Connor. They're probably very happy with what they've got. Not a lot of fixing. That's probably what we actually want to see most right now, because we do have a lot of double pipped cards. Deceiver Exarch, Inquisitor Exarch, and none of these cards particularly great for us. Infernal Caretaker cares about zombies, and we have a couple zombies, but maybe the Loyal Legion yeah. Our game's gonna go long. The Legion might make a bunch of dudes for us. Ooh, Traveler's Amulet I really like right here. Deathblade Elite. Geode. So yeah, either the Geode or the Traveler's Amulet. Just because we have so many different high pip cards. Amulet helps you better in the early game. Just be a little smoother, but Geode fixes draws and helps you play your high mana spells. Yeah, this is a slightly safer pick. False Orders, Sunstrike Legionnaire. We don't have a ton of creatures coming into play from our side. Toll the Invasion is a way to interact with the opponent, which I like. It also makes a 1/1 zombie for our Dreadhorde Invasion, for our Vizier. So some synergies there. Or if we just need a chump blocker, makes a guy. So we've got a decent amount of stall. Still would like a targeted removal spell, but I think at this point we've seen every card that we're gonna get. Zombie Master, we do have a decent amount of zombies. Yeah, that's actually a huge sleeper pick for us. If our opponent's also on a black strategy, we just essentially can start alpha striking and get the game over with, which is going to be very quickly if we have a double striking Oketra or a 5/6 Bantu. But even our little dorks, they'll chip in. And in a board stall scenario, having that evasion is key. Ooh, either Prismite or the Plaza. Yep. Plaza, format's a little slow. We don't have to have a lot of early plays. We can take our time. So yeah, mana fixing at a premium. I like the ramp land here. Yeah, we were talking about how we don't have a ton of fixing, but we do have a lot of high cost cards. Bond of Discipline, though, could help us in a racing scenario. A lot of people are trying to grind out value, but yeah, we'll just take the aggressive card. We'll keep cutting the aggressive cards. And yeah, we have a sweet black-white deck with some life gain, some stall, some interaction.